I'm arriving at the notion that I need to actually separate my attachments to my desires, to my unmet yearnings, or aspirations. I need to detach from that when it comes to having that be the central point of how I make a living. So all of these fantastic ideas that are coming through, I always am held back at the point of, okay, how do I monetize this? And if the idea is then for me to be providing a service, providing something of value, and then people subscribe to that down the line, then that will make me money, and hopefully it will be sustainable enough for me to carry on learning and developing whilst sharing the value that I've picked up along the way in whatever shape or form. Ultimately, I'd love that pattern. It's just it has been years. I haven't been as introspective as I have been these past few months, years perhaps. It's a really long process for me to actually get stuff done and really start heading far into a direction that I choose. I'm always hitting this wall, and I'm shackling myself basically. And so there is always that thing that pulls me back, whether it's a yank back or whether it just holds me where I am. It just grips me in paralysis. So I think what I need to do is detach emotionally from these expectations of myself. They belong in the future. They belong in the public domain, in the external world. Both do not exist right now. They are always a work in progress, and I don't have ultimate control of the future. I barely have any control of the present. I barely have control of the little awareness I have within me, within my being, the different aspects. I'm barely even scratching the surface, so how dare I presume that I can have control over my future? It's quite audacious to presume that we have the capability, the godlike ability, to have enough insight as to then speculate that we can manifest anything that we want. And we can do it with strong intention in the now and then carry that forward. It's a pretty wild claim. I think there is definitely some truth to it. It's just there's a lot of it that's tied up with the ego as well, because that's one of the aspects that could try to take control of any kind of superpower of manifestation. And then they tune out of it, because ultimately you can't control everything. That's the part of the mind and the ego working together in cahoots. They're just trying to control everything. So in order for me to alleviate a lot of that weight and disconnect for a little bit, not have it have such a grip on me, is I need to just unlock these shackles, or at least agree that I'm not going to try and control my way forward. I'm going to use a different way. And when I choose a different way, it's almost as if, I become ethereal for a transient moment, enough that I can phase through the shackles on my ankles. And now, ooh, I'm sorry about that. The best I could do is unlock my screen and pause, but by that time. Anyway, I think having the pressure to have my ideas also have to be monetized and for it to be a sustainable business, that tunes me out of the majesty within. And it holds me back. That's the shackle. When I put so much pressure on myself to make it commercial and make it viable, sustainable, it's grossly attached to money and my livelihood and my future and possible this and possible that. And I need to just pump the brakes on all that shit, because that's a process that should unfold as I go on. It can be an intention, but I shouldn't have that kind of impatience and audacious expectation of myself to have these wondrous ideas that I'm barely even discovering right now for myself. I want to package them up and I want to capture it and document it and then share it with the world. Everything that I've seen and I've observed and I've speculated on and I've realized, oh, I could be of service here. I see something of value. I want to share it with the world. I want other people to see it as well and discover aspects of themselves and develop this way or another. I'd love to do that. I think that is a process that's been bubbling within me for a long, long time, and I'm always held back by the money side, by the heavy, heavy reality of, oh, but what am I going to do for work? What am I going to do for money? It's just so, yeah, it's bludgeoning. So I'm tired of beating my head around with this bludgeoning notion of having to monetize everything. So I need to detach it. I need to go, these are my projects that I do in my spare time. So if I really wanted to focus on these inspirations, do that in my own time, and I have to be efficient at creating my spare time, my spare time, my own time. Because I can't have it all. I've been in the privileged position of having all the time in the world. I've had that for a few years now. It's ridiculous. I'm not doing much with it, and I'm stuck in limbo, and it's driving me insane. I want to live to my potential. I want to manifest. I want to blossom and fly. And I want to do it with you guys. I want to do it by uplifting other people too. You know, I have tiny little wings, you know, but some other people have really large wings. You know, they're able to lift themselves up. But usually we have to come together and we have to kind of make a machine, make a mechanism in order to lift us up or keep us up from falling. So yeah, I've decided it's probably best that I just get employed in any job, whatever ticks the main fundamental boxes of surviving, making money, keeping yourself sane, keeping yourself busy, right? Hopefully it's within my creative fields. Hopefully it's something that I can actually apply my true values towards and not just devote them obsessively in my spare time. And then, yeah, do that for a year and see where I go. Because being stuck here, not moving forward steps in the external world, only going round in circles in my internal world, it's not serving anyone. It's getting tedious to listen to think about, to regret over, to anguish. Enough's enough. I need some change, and that's a good change. So I'm looking for work.